Now, so I originally didn't want to do this, and like with the whole VR and all that stuff, but I figured, why the hell not? So here we are. So the question that we're just going to answer today is Sonic Crossworlds actually worth playing? You know, because everyone's talking about it. Like, is it a fad? Is it just, you know, because Mario Kart World sucks ass? Or is it just because the game's actually good? So I'm just going to give my honest opinion on like why I think that it's a good game, and then why I think that you should buy it or not buy it, depending on how you think by the end of this video. So I'd encourage you to stick around to the end, but if you would please like and subscribe to this video, because I could really use the support. I know that this is a new channel and that you have no reason to trust me, but I promise you it's going to be good content. Ooh. So Sonic Crossworld, for those who don't know, it's basically just your generic kart racer. Well, I don't want to say generic. That sounds kind of rude, you know. But like your kart racer that you know and love, you know. You got your wacky items. You got your karts that are, you know, some are speed dependent, some are this or that. The other, I'm just gonna give a general overview of everything because I don't want to. This isn't a video about like the ins and outs of the mechanics, but I will give you just synopsis on what all the stats do, just so I can get all the bases down. So, speed is the, you know, self-explanatory one. It's just the one where it's your top speed. So while, you know, it may take you a bit longer to get there or shorter, however long, depending on all the other stats, that speed stat, however high that is, affects how fast you actually are and what your top speed actually can be. And acceleration also kind of self-explanatory, where, you know, it depends on your, you know, on your how fast you can go, as not as you can go, more like how fast you can get to your top speed. So, yeah, I mean, again, anyone who knows what Mario Kart is, for the most part, knows what acceleration does. Or if you're just someone who has a brain, but, you know. Anyway, so, yeah. And then you got handling, which is just basically the same deal, kind of self-explanatory, but just lets you control your car better. Very good on this particular game, but I'll get to that later. But then there's also some other more niche types here. You got power, which is basically just how quickly you bounce back from getting hit. It's a very, very niche stat, and I haven't really found many use cases for it myself, but you know, if you get hit a lot and you want to try and, you know, use it as a way to like mitigate all that nonsense, then there you go. And then the last one is boost, and boost is kind of another one of self-explanatory one if you think about it, but it basically just affects how like potent your boosts are. So like drift boost, and I think also it affects like item boost, like the wisp boost, so to speak. And, you know, that's all the types. That's, you know, kind of know what most of those already do. But yeah, I'm not going to sit here and lecture you on how car racers work. But I will say that it does kind of work differently in Crossworlds, where you have character stats. Like, you know, Mario Kart has those too. But like, yeah, character stats, but it's not like weight. It's just that depends it. Like, you have the character overall. So say, for instance, you got Sonic. Sonic gives you overall like speed boost, and, you know, neuter some other areas, boost some other areas a little bit, but it's mainly for speed. So you can have Sonic, a speed character, driving a handling cart, so you can have high speed, high handling, and you just keep, you know, lots of possibilities there, on top of just all of the individual cart parts that you can have. So you can have power-based wheels, or a power-based you know, front and then a speed back, or a handling front and then like a boost base back. But boost is only really useful for you know, hoverboards. So you cannot really get a lot out of boost when you're using a card. And I also forgot to mention that boost is only for the EX gear, because yes, the EX gear is back in Sonic racing game, but it's not. I'll get to that later. But yeah, you can have a lot of mix matching stuff, but the game itself feels great. It looks great. Like, there's nothing really you can complain about it. And I, for one, would really recommend that you just, you know, like, give it a try yourself. I don't know if a demo is still there, but I'm pretty sure there is. And if you just want to try it out, then I highly recommend doing so, because it is just a lot of fun. Like, trust me. Like, you will not have a dull moment with this game. It is just, it's phenomenal, and I really just enjoy playing it myself. Like, I didn't really think going much into this. Whenever I was playing, I was like, oh, it's gonna be okay, but I don't know. Like, I was like kind of skeptical at first, but after playing it for however many hours that I have, it's really just kind of gotten me like, oh my god, it's so good. it's still good, bro. Like, I promise you, it's really worth playing. Like, I whenever I was like playing the network beta test around, when the first one came out for PlayStation, I was thinking to myself, I was like, I don't know, like I have high hopes, and I know Extreme Periods back and all that, but that's not really gonna bring me in right away. But boy, was I fucking wrong. Like, I mean, I don't have like hundreds of hours on it like most of my friends do, but I do have a decent amount of hours on my belt, and every single time that I do get on the game, I'm usually playing it for more than like 2+ hours at a time, as opposed to like Mario Kart World, where I don't even have like more than 8 hours on that game, and I've had it since that came out too. So, like, if that doesn't tell you anything about my love for Sonic, and I don't actually hate the new Mario Kart. I don't hate Mario Kart World as much as most people do. I know that it's like, driving simulator, like roller straight lines, like it's not really fun for most people, and I get that. I'm not a fan of intermission courses either. It was a cool concept, but then they poorly executed it, so it's like whatever. But anyway, yeah. I do not hate Mario Kart World, so do not think of this as like a Mario Kart World, like not shit post, but like a call-out post or anything like that. I have nothing against Mario Kart World. I think that Mario Kart World is okay in the grand scheme of things. I just think that given all the Nintendo's decisions with it, it could have been a lot better. But I digress. Anyway, Sonic Crossworlds, it really just hits all the points that you'd want in the Sonic racing game. It feels like the game. It feels super fast. It feels like alive. The world, like the courses, feel alive. They're all like super uniquely designed with a lot of little Easter eggs and stuff here and there. There's also just like so much like stuff like happening, but it's never overwhelming. And like the biggest part for me was that the game felt like it rewarded you for playing good, not so much for getting lucky. And that's even what like the director of the game said on record in an interview. I saw plenty of articles about this, so it's not just like a one-off thing. But yeah, he literally designed the game around being skill-based rather than like RNG. Not saying that there's not a lot of like party shit RNG going on so here and there. Like, of course, you could be going like first place strong for a while and then get hit by one item, then another, and then all of a sudden you're back in 12th. But it's not really as bad as you think. Like, you like, for to put it in perspective, you can't really front run in Sonic Crossworlds. And for those who don't know what front running is basically just whenever you are so far ahead of the curve, so far ahead of everybody else, so far ahead in general, that it just makes it impossible for everyone else to get past. So, like, it's kind of self-explanatory again in that regard, but yeah, you can't really do that in Sonic Crossworlds. You can get really far ahead, yes, but you're never really more than, like, I want to say 2 to 3 boosts away from the person in second. So, not saying that, like, the person in second is going to get a bunch of, like, items and stuff that you can catch up, but if you're ever playing Sonic Crossworlds, there's never really a, like, time where you're going to be, like, smoking everybody the entire race. There could always be something flipping on a dime because someone gets an item that they really need, or they make a lot of, like, good turns and good use of their boosts and whatnot. Like, you can't ever guarantee a win. Like, just because someone's in first place for, like, a lap or two doesn't mean that they're in first place for the whole like race, So, like, and some people might say, like, oh, that's so bad, that's bad game design, I want to be in first, blah 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 blah, and I say, shut up. But anyway, I digress. But yeah, it's a lot more fair in that regard. Yeah, it can be a little annoying whenever you're winning for a lot of the race and then you get punted down to 8th place because you got hit by 2 items in a row. But that's when the next part comes in, which is the gadgets. Now, honestly, I think the gadgets are single-handedly the most, like, important but not meta-slavey thing in the game. And what I mean by that is that, yes, there are some gadgets that are obviously better than others. Like, you don't want to just, like, you would much rather have, like, reduced animation lag whenever you get hit, as opposed to, oh, you get free boosts whenever you fall off the map, like, like, yeah, of course you'd want one or the other, but it doesn't mean you can't run it and still, like, perform well. Like, there's not really a be-all end-all solution for winning every race. You can't just be like, this is the meta gadget build, like, or anything like that, because you can literally run whatever you want, and as long as you feel like it works, then it does. Like, you don't have, there's always going to be meta, there's always going to be people being like, this is the best thing and all that, but you don't really need to run the meta. You can run whatever you want and still have a fair shot of winning, as opposed to someone who's trying to sweat their heart out. Yeah, obviously the person sweating their heart out might be having more of an advantage because they understand the gadgets a lot better, but that doesn't mean that, you know, if you want to run like a free monster truck at the beginning, then that might be able to secure you the win, or at least secure like a comfy spot in third at the very least, because you got so far ahead in the beginning. Like, you cannot really guarantee anything. Like, it all comes down to how you perform in the actual race. Like, there's again, you can't really just come in like, you know, like in Mario Kart with like your Toadette, buggy, roller wheel, and all that shit. You know, I don't really know. I don't even know what the meta is in Mario Kart World right now. But like, yeah, you can't really come in with all that in Sonic Crossworlds and expect to like win right off the rip. That's just not how it works, and honestly, it makes it work in a way. I know it's not how it works, but it's how it works. But yeah, the gadgets are very customizable. There's a lot of, I don't even have all the gadgets yet, and there's still way more, and they might even be adding more as the game goes on, because right now we have a decent spread of gadgets. Right now, I know off the top of my head, there's like speed based gadgets that like lets you tune your character's speed. There's like vehicle speed gadgets. There's you know, again, like I said, the one that gives you reduced animation delay when you get hit. And there's also one that makes it so you don't lose rings when you hit the sides. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention, like any other, I guess, kart racer of this type, because Mario Kart is the same way, where like you get coins, you get faster, and Sonic you get rings and you get faster, but you can lose rings when you hit other players or when you hit the sides of the course. And in my initial reaction to that was like, well, that's kind of dumb, because if you're playing, if you're doing really well, and then you hit the wall a few times, and all of a sudden you lost like 20 rings, and it's, well, really, it sounds kind of mean. But the answer is just like to get good, you know. Like, you can always like try your best to keep all your rings, but even if you're playing really well, there's no guarantee you're not gonna get hit by an item or something along the way anyway. But like, if you are comfortable with your gear, or if you just want to play safe and run handling, which is also viable, honestly. And as far as I know, handling is like the meta kart build right now. But anyway, if you want to just play safe and run handling, you can. But if you're really comfortable with like running high speed or high acceleration or high power, whatever you're trying to go for, you can do that too. Or if you really want to prevent that, there's even a gadget that makes it that you don't, like I said, that you don't lose rings when you hit the walls or when you hit other players. So that way you can keep all your rings. Again, they won't guarantee anything, but if you want that, if you like that aspect of your gameplay not being like a hinder to you, then you can do that. And it's not going to do anything to actually stop you from winning. It's just going to make whatever you want to do during said race a lot easier, so you don't lose as many rings when you're bumping in the shit. So like, it's just like, it's so good. Like, I can't even scratch the surface on all the stuff you can do with the gadgets. It's such a great system, and I honestly kind of wish that Mario Kart tried something like this before, because it just makes it so much more intuitive, because all you have to do is just grab gadgets that you like, and then you're good. You don't have to do anything else, and that's, like, I can't understate how, like, awesome that is just to think about. So another thing I want to touch on is the Extreme Gear. Now, I am a Sonic Riders baby. I played Sonic Riders Zero Gravity, Sonic Riders 1, and unfortunately, I played Sonic Free Riders. But anyway, yeah, I played a lot of Sonic Riders games, and I even played the Tournament Edition. So I have a pretty decent understanding of how the Extreme Gear feels and should work. Personally, if you want to ask me my opinion, I think the best iteration was the first Sonic games. Zero Gravity was good. I'm not saying it wasn't. Zero Gravity was fucking baller. Anyone who says that it is not a good game, I'm going to fight you. But you know, in Free Riders, we don't talk about Free Riders, but I think that the best iteration of the Extreme Gear was definitely the first game. Like, it felt the most fluid, it felt the most like fast, and it felt the most rewarding for your skill. But the Extreme Gear in the extreme gear in Crossworld just doesn't really sit as well for me. Because in Crossworlds, the extreme gear is more geared towards just like being a pseudo car. You don't really get anything different. You don't get any you get obviously you get different animations, but you don't get anything different out of getting the extreme gear. You just get like different animations, and you get stuff like, you know, like your character maybe like having hoverboard like animations during the race. Other than that, you don't really get anything out of it. Obviously, like I mentioned earlier, that hoverboards are all boost based, but you can still like obviously boost the other but you can obviously like increase the speed or acceleration, handling, all that good stuff through gear parts and also gadgets. So you don't really need to full on go into boost, but that's what you're going for usually when you get the hoverboards. And I'm not saying the hoverboards aren't viable. They are, again, anything works. If you want to run hoverboard, then you can. If you want to run cars, then you can. But my issue with the extreme gear is that it feels more like fan service at the end of the day. Like, I love how they brought back the Babylon Rose, because like I loved them in Sonic Fighters games, and it really disappointed me that they never really used them up until now. But I'm glad to have them back in the game. But it feels like that the extreme gear was fan service, because they don't really feel like extreme gear. Like I said, it feels like you're just driving a car with a different coat of different coat of paint, so to speak. And not saying that's really a bad thing, but it's more just like I really wish that they had gone more with it and made it more feel like it's actually from Sonic Riders. To maybe, I mean, again, I feel like that it would make it harder to balance around a little bit, but I don't know. That being said, I do believe that Sonic Crossworlds was a great game, and that you should really give it a try if you really think about buying it. Yes, it is $70. I should probably mention that. It is expensive, yes, but Mario Kart World I think is like 80 or around the same price, at least 70. But so like, if you already have a Switch or Xbox, PlayStation, PC, whatever, but it is on all platforms, I should mention that as well. I'm not sponsored, by the way, but Sega, hit me up. But anyway, but yeah, it is on all platforms, and it is the same price on all platforms. But I should specify that there is a demo, as far as I'm aware. I don't know if it's still up, but if there is, then I'd recommend giving it a try. If not, I'd recommend doing more of your own research. But as for me, I think that the game itself is great. It's fun. It's just overall like a good time. I cannot recommend it any more than I already have. It really just is like one of those games where the more you play it, the more like you're in love with it. At least to me. Other tidbits I will say, the drifting is a little bit more arcadey style. So if you've ever played Mario Kart, I think GX or something, or DX, it's the Dave and Buster's game. But if you ever played that, it's kind of like that in that vein. It's a little bit slippery in some areas unless you're running handling, but other than that, pretty decent race feel overall. So yeah, my honest opinion, 10 out of 10 game. Best like Sonic racing game I've ever played, and I'd highly recommend you give it a try. That's all gonna do it for me though, so I'd highly recommend checking out my other videos. I made a video about me being really bad at Ken. You'll probably see it over here, and also made another video about me rating all the archers and hero shooters on this side. So yeah, and if you all want VR chat stuff like this, where I just hop in VR chat and explain like so, then by all means I'd love to do so. But for now, I will see you all in the next one. Peace out.